All right, what is going on, crew? It is Baby Strength back with you here with Iron Logic Barbell. We are on to week number 6 of this training split that we've got going on, and feeling good, in a good spot. We're coming off of a solid week 5, in my opinion. The overhead and bench are moving really well. The squat and dead are still tracking along nicely. Hopefully they start feeling a little bit easier, feeling a little bit lighter, but for the time being, we're still getting our reps, so pretty happy with it. Moving into week 6, excited for the numbers that we've got. The bench and overhead are continuing to climb, along with everything else. I know the bench kind of stalled out there for a little bit, but now we're looking at some heavier weights across the board. It is going to be a little bit of a different one. Unfortunately, I have a full day work conference tomorrow, which starts at like 7:30, and I've got a flight out Saturday morning at 6, and I'm really not trying to get into the gym prior to 4, which is probably what I would need to do. So I'm going to try to combine days. My biggest goal is I want to make sure that I hit the AMRAP sessions all 4 of the AMRAP sessions this week. And I think I've mentioned before, but day 1 of the week, we're doing overhead and bench hypertrophy work, or just like some extra strength training. So normally the bench is, 3 sets of 4 with some other sets of like 8, 7, 6s. And then the overhead is the 3, 5, 7, 6, 4, 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep that bench, but instead of doing the extra volume for overhead, I'm going to just do the overhead AMRAP today. So we're going to get rid of the incline that normally pairs the AMRAP on Wednesday, and we're going to get rid of some of that extra volume work on the overhead, combine them. I'll hit the shoulder overhead first, followed by the bench working sets. And that's just going to have to do for this week. It's not my favorite thing to do, but at least this way we'll get most of what we need from these sessions, and it's just going to be what it is for this week. As far as numbers go, we are working up to 225 on the overhead AMRAP, and last week we were coming off of 220 for 4, so this week ideally you want to keep that same progress, shoot for 4 maybe, but I wouldn't be upset about 3 there. Definitely a big number, because I mean, a lot of people talk about benching 225 for the first time, and we're going for overhead and ideally going to smoke it. Moving over to bench, we're working at a 310 working weight for those 3 sets of 4, and bench has been moving really well. I'm glad to see the numbers starting to jump up, really. So hitting some heavier working weights there. Following that up with just some pull-ups, rows, curls, flies, the normal upper body hypertrophy accessory work, and it should be a good one. So I will check back in after. Alrighty, folks, we were checking back in after a augmented day 1 of week 6. Not great, not horrible. Went okay. I didn't love it. That's a lot of pressing to do in one day, but it is what it is, and I'd rather get some of it in rather than none of it, or miss a full day entirely. So, we make do. We started with overhead, and what was the first set? The first set was 175 for 5, and then it jumped up to 200 for 3, and then straight into the AMRAP set at 225. Now I'm gonna hedge a little bit, but it's Monday. My body's not used to going for the AMRAP for overhead on Mondays. So it is what it is. We only got 3 on the 225, which again is not terrible. And honestly, it kind of tracks, 2 weeks ago, we got the 215 for 5. Last week, we got the 220 for 4. This week, we get the 225 for 3. Not the end of the world. We're still moving in the right direction. Would have liked to get an extra rep, but it is what it is. Only thing that's frustrating, I just feel like if it was middle of the week, I'd already had an overhead training session in. Maybe it could have gone differently, but we'll never know. And that's what we're able to accomplish this week. So still not too upset about it. 225 for 3, and then back down the ladder to, I think it was 210 for 3, and then 200 for 3, 190, so on. So that went well. Shoulder was feeling a little funky, but nothing too crazy. Got, pretty warmed up and mobile and everything like that. And then moved over to heavy bench. And that felt, again, we got through all the sets and reps, but the way that the bar's been moving on bench in weeks past, didn't necessarily feel as good. With that one though, I will give myself some credit. Normally that's the first lift on Mondays, followed by lighter overhead, whereas we had, AMRAP overhead, then bench. So to me, it makes sense that it would feel a little bit heavier. The shoulders and the tris got a lot of attention in the overhead. So moved on to the bench, warmed up. It was 235 for 8, 275 for 6, and then jumping into the 3x4 at 310. Bar did move well. I felt myself get out of line a couple times, but being able to course correct middle of the set and get back into a fluid bar path. So that was good. And then back down to 290, 275, and so on. So overhead and bench, both, again, we got the numbers. Did it move extraordinarily well? No. But we got it, and it is what it is in this kind of weird hybrid week. Moved over to pull-ups, did 2 sets unweighted, and then 2 sets with the 10 kilos, and then called it a day because the other accessory work was, more chest work, more arm work, and honestly, felt pretty zapped by those. I was still pushing 2 hours with just those 2 main movers. I want to give them the attention that they deserve, didn't want to rush it, and fact of the matter is we were in there for a while. So while we only hit 3 movements today, I think we gave them everything we had, and it was all right. So we'll rest up. I gotta head to a meeting here shortly, and like I said, tomorrow unfortunately got that all-day conference, but I'll be checking back in on Wednesday for heavy back squats. I believe we're going up to 515. So excited for that, and I will see y'all then. Alrighty crew, we are back in action. For y'all, it'll be just the next video. For me, had to take Tuesday off, so I'm checking in Wednesday morning for day 2 of the week, and getting back to the more important matters at hand, which is squats. Today we are working up to 515. We got 3 at 510 last week, and I think it moved pretty well. I know with that I got a little forward on either the 2nd or 3rd rep, kind of threw off my rhythm, and wasn't able to go for that 4th. So I'm pretty confident we can go for 3 again, and possibly even 4. We're coming off a full rest weekend of Saturday, Sunday off. Had a little bit of extra rest yesterday, so my body should be primed and ready to go heavy. So I am looking forward to that. We're starting out. First set is 405. Some people are saying I'm starting at your max. I wouldn't say that. Just some people have said that. And then we jump up to 460 or 465 to double check. AMRAP at 515, backing it down to 485, 460. So on. Happy to see that with the squat. I'm starting to feel more and more confident. Again, it doesn't necessarily feel as great as it has before, but we're getting there. It's baby steps, and squat is so damn hard that we take the little wins. One of those little wins being that first back down set is one of our early on AMRAPs, 485. And I'm pretty sure when we first did that, we only got it for 2. Body was still adjusting to that heavier weight on the bar. And now it's our back down set and we're looking at it for 3. So pretty pleased with the progress made there. Moving on from squats to sumo. We've got 440 this week actually programmed, even though that's what we've been doing. Again, looking at it as more of an accessory movement. You know, just getting the reps in, feeling it out. I think the best thing, it's helped me open up my hips a little bit. It's far more technical, but I'm hoping that the differences will carry over and add some extra strength to the regular conventional deadlift. So we'll see how that goes and see how that is feeling. Moving on, got some leg curls, some calves, some core, you know, all that fun stuff. But yeah, focus is the squats. I'm treating 3 like the baseline. I ideally really want 4, and if I'm feeling real active, maybe we go for that 5. I'm not sure. But that's it. You know, we'll check back in afterwards. The only update is something I've been putting off for a while. Got one of these bad boys. Got a little tripod. I still don't plan on doing too much filming of talking in the gym, but it will just make recording sets so much easier rather than having to balance it and find the right spot, use a bench block, use a shoe, whatever. Want to get some better angles, want to have the camera being stable, and hopefully that improves somewhat with this purchase. I don't feel great about it, but literally everyone in that gym has one, and I figured, why not? So that's the only other update. Other than that, I'll check back in after squats. Alrighty, what is going on, crew? Back with you here, wrapped up. Not gonna sugarcoat it. That was probably one of the worst lifts I've had in a very long time. Just everything felt bad. I didn't feel horrible on the way in. I felt pretty ready to go, but just getting my body warmed up, getting my shoulder loosened up, getting my legs and my hips ready to go, terrible. I normally warm up for 5-10 minutes, maybe 15 on a longer day before jumping into the first movement. Today it was over 20 minutes before I even put a bar on my back. That's just how stiff I was feeling. And then you know you're in for a tough day when, you know, 2 plates and 3 plates feels like 1,000 pounds. But persevered, put on some hype music, got some Chief Keef going, and tried to power through. So we hit the 405 set, the 460 set, and we got the to 515, and we only got it for 2. I know before going in I was talking about potentially 4, at least 3, but I only had 2 in me, and I gave it everything I had, to be honest. I mean, I put on wrist wraps, I had my belt on, I had the tunes pumping, and I even used some smelling salts that were in the gym, and that too took everything out of me. That's just all we had today. So squats just did not feel good. Moved over to sumo. Didn't feel great either. Again, just felt so heavy. We put on the 440. The 3, I mean, I've gone double overhand before, and it started slipping out of my hand. And then went for the set of 5, and felt like I was about to tear my lat off, and just all around not a good day. So it is what it is. Not every day in the gym is going to be your best day in the gym. I think the more important thing is we got up, we went, we tried, we threw the heavy weight on, and we gave it the best shot we could. We gave it everything we had. Just today I didn't have a whole lot. I don't know if it's because of work or lack of sleep, food. I don't know exactly what the reason is. Some days honestly just fucking suck, and that's just the way it goes. So not a whole lot to report on today. I'll still splice in the videos that I got. I will say it, the one positive note, tripod vids look good. Got the squat from the front this time, so you don't have to stare at my ass. So there's a plus for you. But it is what it is. Some days like this just happen. So hopefully we can rest up and get our mind right and get back into it tomorrow for bench day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back in action for day 3. Coming off of a bit of a tough day 2 on the squats. Just wasn't there physically and mentally, but hey, those days happen. We were still able to get at least 2 on the back squats at 515, and it is what it is. I know next week is actually going to be a deload, so I think my body just might be a little tired. A lot going on. It is what it is. We move on. Feeling great today. Got a lot of sleep. Got some food in me this morning, and I'm ready to tackle the bench. And bench is going really well so far this training block, so I don't see any other reason why that would change at this point. Last week we got the 335 for 5, and like I predicted, this week we jumped up 10 pounds on our AMRAP set. So we are going up to 345 today, which I'm excited about. I couldn't tell you the last time I had 345 on the bar. It's definitely been a while. So excited that that's on the docket for today. Getting up to that, we're going 275, 310, the AMRAP at 345. Followed by 330, 310 again, so on. Moving over to close grip, and we are working up to 220 today, which is nice, especially when you think about the plate math. Just throw on a red and a yellow, and that's all you got to do. So excited for that. Got the dip belt for some pull-ups, some other accessory movements. Hoping the lat will hold on for me today and not cause too much discomfort, and and then some other accessories, some rows and all that jazz. But no, feeling good, excited for the bench. As far as expectations go and what I'm looking for, it's tough to say. I was so wrong yesterday, but what I'm expecting, if I'm just being honest, I'm thinking 3 is the baseline, ideally 4. But I'll be happy with 3. Won't be too happy with 2. 2 is never fun. But it is a large increase. It's a 10-pound jump, so I don't know. It is. I'll be interested to see how the bar is moving today. But we'll go in, we'll get warmed up, finishing off my pre-workout, and keep the energy high, and hopefully smash the bar and go from there. So I will check in with you all after. Crew, we are back from the gym. Wrapped up bench today and all those upper accessories, and happy to say we are back. Yesterday, just a blip on the radar. We're back, better than ever. Really solid day. Really happy with the way things are moving. So to jump right in, we started on bench. 275 for 5, felt solid. Up to 310 for 3, felt a little heavy, but nothing out of the ordinary. So then we worked up to the 345 for the AMRAP. We were able to get it for 4, and was really happy with that. I know I talked beforehand, 3 or 4. The 4 felt solid. The first 3 felt smooth as butter. The last one still honestly felt pretty good, in all honesty. A bit more of a grind, but not like I was really scraping to get it. So happy with the way that the bar was moving today. Happy to get 4 reps there. Backing it down to 330 for 3. Honestly, struggled a little bit more on the 330 for 3 after the AMRAP than the actual 345 itself. It just felt heavy. Maybe could have used an extra 30 seconds, minute of rest before jumping back in, but still got it. Then jumped up, or dropped down to 310 again for 5. Moved clean. 290, 275, 255, 235, and all those reps felt really solid. Big focus that I've had recently is one, just stacking the wrists, making sure that when I'm pushing the bar, all of that energy is going straight into the bar. Putting on the wrist reps has definitely helped that feeling, and also just keeping those shoulders and back locked in, pinned down, and not letting them kind of flare up or get out of position at all. And that's seemed to be helping. Also, just all the reps and sets we've been doing. Jumped over to close grip, 220 for the 357, 468, and that was just flying. Really happy with that. Get the triceps moving. Jumped over to pull-ups. First set did unweighted for 5, then 3 sets with 25 pounds on for 5, and then the last set took the weight off and banged out 8 of them. Moved to Yates rows, 225, 3 by 8. Feeling clean, definitely feel them. Targeting the back, which is good. I've been going pinkies on the ring to kind of mimic the bar path of bench. And then had some flies. I believe it actually called for dumbbells, but I hadn't done the cable flies in a while, and that was just calling my name. It was wide ass open, which is pretty seldom, so hopped on that. I forget exactly what the weight was, but got a good deep stretch. Did 3 or 4 sets there. Moved over to biceps. Grabbed the 40s for the first set, 50s for 2 more sets, and then capped them off with a set of incline curls with the 30s, just to get a little bit more stretch and damage on the muscle. And then that was it. So really happy with today. Really happy with the way the bench is going. 345. I think we're already working off of a 365 working max, which is 90% of whatever the true max is. So I see 4 in the crosshairs, and I'm excited to have the bar keep moving. And yeah, so that's it for today. I'll quit rambling now, and we'll be back tomorrow. The last lift of the week for deadlifts, 595 AMRAP. See if we can break through this 3 rep plateau. Alrighty, crew, we are back in action for day 4 of week 5. It's the final lift of the week, unfortunately, just with some other circumstances going on between work, travel. We're only squeezed 4 in, but we are going to be able to get all of our AMRAP lifts in, so we'll still be able to, stay on top and progress weeks moving forward. Won't throw too much of a hiccup in it. Luckily, today we've got the deadlifts. We are working up to 595 for the AMRAP. We got 3 last week at 590. And I tell you what, it felt heavy. But that's okay, you know. That is okay. If it feels heavy and we get it up, hey, so what? If it's a bit of a grind, whatever. We're building the foundation, we're building that strength. So when it's time to start ripping singles, we've got that power, we've got that strength, and we can keep it climbing. First set of the day is 470, then going up to 530, hitting the AMRAP, and then first back down set, I'm happy to announce, is 565. So finally, all 4 of the major lifts, the first back down set, if not second back down set, is at least where we started our AMRAPs to begin the program 5 weeks ago. I believe 565 was week 1's AMRAP set, so that's good to see. All the lifts are roughly speaking in line. I would say the bench and overhead are definitely a little bit ahead of schedule, and the squat and deadlift are right on time, and that's fine. I know those lifts I wouldn't want to say maxed out my potential by any means, but I've gotten to a higher caliber in those lifts. I've had a higher performance in both of those lifts for sure, so to see the same steady increase in the bench and the overhead somewhere that's been lacking, I think would be a little silly to expect. So I'm happy the fact that they're still progressing, whether it's a little bit slower or not, who cares? Progress is progress, and we're gonna get the weight moving today. Following that up, we've got the high bar squats. I did recently see a video that, a guy was recommending doing front squats as specifically a deadlift accessory, just through the nature of having to keep your trunk upright and fight the weight that's in front of you, similar to a deadlift, and viewing it more as a deadlift accessory rather than a squat accessory or leg development. And he may be onto something there, but with only squatting once a week and already pulling sumo and conventional twice a week, I'd rather have that secondary movement be more of a leg developer. So I am still going to stick with the high bar squats, so we can at least load it up a little bit more, recruit more leg development, and attack it from there. Got some some leg curls, some calves, some all your general stuff that we've been over before. That's not fun, but it is what it is. The easy stuff. So that's kind of a peek into what we got going on, and I will check back after we smoke this 595, and I'm hoping to break through this 3-rep plateau, but we will see. Alrighty, crew, we're back, wrapped up week 5, and this has definitely been one of the tougher weeks, but let's just dive in. Let's talk about the good and the bad of what just went down. So as we all know, it was deadlift day, warmed up, plate 2, 3 plates, feeling good, jumped up to 470 for the first working set, and I think the program called for 5, but only did it for 3. I find doing too many triples leading up to that AMRAP really kind of pre-exhausts me, and I don't prefer that, so I dropped it to 3, but it moved well. Moved up to 530 for 3, and felt a little heavy. Definitely felt a bit of a strain in my lower back. but nothing bad, nothing out of the ordinary by any means. And then jumped up to the AMRAP 595, and feels good. 5 reps on the bar, and threw a little quarter kilo on each side, or a half kilo, or whatever it is. I think it's 270.5 kilos. So felt good to see that on the bar. We didn't break through the 3 plateau. We got it for 3. If anyone's asking, I meant to do the pause right at the knee on the 3rd rep, but we were able to get it through. I mean, the first rep felt better than any heavy deadlift I've had in the last month or so. I would say that first rep just felt really good. So I was really happy with that. The second one, you know, felt good. It felt about status quo. And then that 3rd one was a grind, as you can see, kind of hit a bit of a pause at my knee, but we were able to lock it out, which, yeah, I'm pretty happy with. Then took a good amount of rest, because I won't lie to you, that one felt really tough on the lat and the tricep, but went down to 565. I was only able to get it for 1. It really felt like I was about to pull something in my shoulder, whatever it is. I was looking into it a little bit as I was doing some of my accessory work, and I think it might be the teres major, which is kind of a connector between the lat and the tricep, because they don't directly attach, but there's a little bit of, you know, a little bit of tendons, I guess, between the two. But whatever it is, it's that area. So I don't know exactly what's going wrong, if it's strained, if it's pulled, if it's torn, but it doesn't feel good. And that 560, from a deadlift perspective, it felt fine. From a pain in the teres major, let's call it, that sucked. So and you'll see in the video, I put straps on. I thought maybe it's the over-under that was really killing me, and maybe if I just went double over, it wouldn't hurt as bad, but that did not seem to be the cure. I'm sure I heard it more in the 595 than actually the 565, and it was probably a little too late to try to pacify it, but what are you gonna do? So the good news is 595 moved extremely well. We got it for 3. Bad news is I called it 565, could only get 1, and honestly my arm is feeling pretty shot. I went over to go do the high bar squats, and like literally unloading the deadlift bar and trying to load up the plates, putting any kind of movement into that left arm or any kind of weight really does not feel good. So I decided to scrap that, and I just went and did some leg press. I know, kind of soft, but it is what it is. So hit the leg press hard, did some leg curls, and called it a day. I tried to do some direct foam rolling on that tricep, lat, teres major, whatever you want to call it, and I don't know. But looking on the bright side, we've got a rest week. We're heading to the beach, a little rest, recovery, give this thing really a nice, long, overdue break. Hopefully that's all it really needs to kind of calm down. I'm sure right now it's just inflamed anger at me, and I just keep attacking it with heavy ass deadlifts. So give it some rest, try to still stay active, but you know, I would rather take a full week off than do a half-assed week and continue to plague my arm. So what are you gonna do? Week as a whole, weird one, don't love it. Of all the 5 weeks, or is this week 6? I think I've been saying week 5 this whole time. It's week 6. I'm an idiot, and there's no way to go back and scrub all that and correct that. It's week 6. It's a weird one. I think just mentally, physically, it's time for a rest. I wish I could have held out a little bit longer before starting to break down, but it is what it is. Some of the good that came from the week, we got 3 reps on 225 overhead, and that moved well. We got 4 at 345, which is definitely a PR, and the heaviest I've loaded up the bar in a while on bench. Squat, we know how that squat day went, but we still managed to get it for 2. And deadlift, while it kind of put me into some pain, hey, at least we got it for 3. And you know, long, we'll be doing the AMRAPs back over 600 pounds, and that'll feel pretty badass. So take the good with the bad, do what we can, try to heal up, get back after it, put this video up and together, and we'll check in when we check in.